I just start? What up everyone, it's your girl, Super Carter, and today I decided that we should do a Q&A, but I have invited a very special guest, my friend from PointlessChamber.
Hey guys, and thanks for having me on your channel. So today we decided to post a hashtag #SuperCarterII about Angela Carter and about meeting the three wolf stories, and you guys have sent in loads of tweets, and so we picked a few and we're about to answer them. Lego!
So the first question we're going to answer is, how does Carter's feminist perspective affect her stories / characters? So I think that Carter has very strong female characters, which is different from our normal fairy tale stories that we would usually see or hear, because it's the complete opposite. Usually we would have a damsel in distress, a princess, or someone who is always the one who needs saving. But also what I love is that she uses this violence, which helps the female characters have more power, and she associates certain objects like knives to characterize the female characters in the story. And she also gives a lot of power and authority to the female characters.
Yeah, that's true, and I also think that a majority of the characters in her stories are female, and because all of them contain a strong female lead. And however, when we say that her stories are feminist, she doesn't really agree with it. And the other day I read an article online saying that how she doesn't agree when people say that her book is a feminist book, as she just thinks that she explores unsaid things about the fairy tales. And her feminist perspective doesn't also just affect the characters, it also affects the readers, and especially men, because women are already aware of how we're portrayed in fairy tales. However, men, they don't really think much about it, so I think that these stories really raise an awareness about how falsely we are portrayed in these stories.
So they can finally see how we feel in the normal stories.
Yeah. So on to the second question, which was, why do you think Carter keeps the same theme of menstruation in the three wolf tales? I think while reading these three tales, I kind of saw a recurring aspect of menstruation. So it kind of made the reader remember little details about it, and it kind of just made us feel more aware. I think that her use of menstruation also, it makes the stories more female related, and it shows the importance of a female's cycle almost, and it kind of just emphasizes the fact that there are strong female characters in this, in her book.
I found a quote online that I really loved about her stories, and it was, Carter associates Wolf Alice's menstruation with the development of her humanity, a time of both blood and enlightenment. So it's how Carter really wants to emphasize the character's sexual awakening, so it's time to become a woman. It's basically a step in life. And at the time of where the stories are set, menstruation was a sign of it's time to have a family, start your life, and the beginning of your journey. And in Wolf Alice, it also shows how she's actually human and not wolf, which is the opposite of what she thinks of herself. So it really shows the readers that she actually is a human, because she's following the cycle that all women have.
Yeah, I agree. On to the next question!
So the third question, wait, let me find it. Okay, the third question is, why does Carter use the character's virginity as a way to describe them? I think that Carter really plays with the character's virginity in the stories. She uses them to describe them, but she also uses, she emphasizes how being a virgin is a tool, and it's something very powerful which you can use to survive or to defend yourself. Because, for example, in the company of wolves, she uses her virginity to seduce the wolf and to protect herself.
Yeah, and also I think that at the beginning of every story, the characters are portrayed as pure and innocent because they are still virgins. and however in the end they get corrupted to survive, and so it always follows a certain pattern within these free will stories. And I think that when a character loses her virginity, it's almost like a transformation, like a metamorphosis, because they become suddenly more powerful and more aware of the fact that they can use their sexual appeal to kind of defend themselves and survive, and they can just use it as a weapon.
But it is strange, right?
Yeah. It's weird seeing the transition from innocent to corrupted.
Yeah.
But she really portrays that well. On to the fourth question and our last question. Someone asked us, what elements of Carter's stories did you like and dislike, and why? I really like how gruesome the stories are and how disturbing they are, because she talks about things that are almost taboo in the real world, like, for example, the menstruation or also a bit like the virginity, and it really creates a shock effect to the readers. And I think it's kind of amazing how she takes such a real element of life and puts it into fiction. I found that really interesting. However, I think that with some of her descriptions, she went a bit too far, because it made me feel really disturbed and just kind of shocked when reading it. And I don't think that you could really take the story seriously sometimes because of how shocked we were when we read it. On the other hand, I really like her descriptions and her settings, because I like the fact that she always puts it in winter, as it kind of gives the story a really cold atmosphere, which really connects well with the characters.
I really love that the stories were so different from the original stories we used to read when we were kids and that we grew up with, and that the way she described everything, the language that she used was so rich, and sometimes it was incomprehensible, so we couldn't understand it, so it really made the readers think while reading the stories. Also, I really enjoyed how she gave a lot of power to the females in the stories, because it made me feel like I can be powerful, and it made me feel much better about myself, that these are things, women can also be leaders, women can also be in charge. But the only thing I didn't enjoy was the use of imagery. It was a bit strong and it made me feel very disgusted and uncomfortable, especially when we were reading it in class. It made a very awkward situation, especially with people who are not comfortable talking about these subjects.
We could never really take these scenes seriously.
Everyone would just burst into laughter.
Yeah. So this is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
I'm so grateful that you can come to my channel.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we also made another collaboration on my channel. If you guys want to check it out, we'll leave a link in the description box down below. And if you like the video, then click thumbs up, and
don't forget to subscribe down.
Yeah, of course. And to my channel too.
Don't forget to subscribe to Pointless Chambers.
Yeah.
And
we'll see you next week.
Bye!